What's next for Coach Cal after 15 seasons in Kentucky?
Winning is all that really matters. It's not furnishing the NBA. You're not a G League team.
The appointments are lined up.
You waiting for somebody in there?
Got an appointment. And it's not about what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
It's not personal. It's strictly business.
It's time you and me had a private talk, Winger. Step into my office.
It's Step Into My Office with Michael Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi, we'll see you now.
All right, Michael. Coach Cal stepping into the office here first, head coach of the University of Kentucky basketball.
Wow.
The Wildcats lose in the first round again, upset by a 14 seed in the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. This is a Kentucky team, Michael, that now has just one NCAA tournament win in the last 4 years. Jay Wright said this past week after the loss that Cal has done the best he can getting future NBA players, but NIL is changing the landscape of college basketball. What's next for Coach Cal after 15 seasons in Kentucky?
Well, I hear Coach Cal. Coach, I hear you talk, right? And I hear you quote that you've got so many lottery picks and so many guys in the NBA, and that is a wonderful achievement. And I think that's remarkable, the talent that has come through Lexington, Kentucky. However, winning is all that really matters. It's not furnishing the NBA. You're not a G League team. You're a true championship-level caliber team that goes back to some of the great coaches. It goes to Adolph Ruff and all those people that have built this program. And so I think it's going to take a little bit of time to figure out what you need to do to change. And I think this happens to every coach, right? After the New England Patriots lost to the Denver Broncos in 2013 in a game where that wasn't really close, the Patriots had a good season, got to the AFC Championship game, but it was defeated by Peyton Manning, giving up 507 yards in that game offensively. Belichick had to make a decision. What do I do? And he started from that point forward how to alter the team. He no longer realized he could outscore teams, even with Tom Brady. They finished third those 8 years in scoring. They were never lower than 8th overall in scoring, but he had to change his approach. And I think you got to change your approach because you're getting beat, not because you don't have the most talent, because you don't have a team that can play together. And one of the things we love about the NC2A tournament, Coach, is we love flow. And flow can only happen when you get a bunch of players who want to learn and grow and have experience. And I think that's what Jay Wright was saying, that the older teams are always going to beat you not because they're more talented, but because they can create flow. They've been coached for 5 years. They do all the detailed things right. Meanwhile, you got guys out there that have talent, that can do unique things, but they have a hard time doing it for 40 minutes consistently. So you're either going to continue down this path or you're going to have to change your approach. You're going to have to get your team older. And I think it's hard, and I think it's really a tough spot to be in because coaching incredibly talented players is challenging. Eric Musselman had the best recruiting class 2 years ago, and that struggled to win games. Eventually, they got to the Elite Eight, but it's hard. And I think you got to change your methodology of how you want to play and win because you haven't been to a Final Four in forever. And you've got great PR, but you're lucky you have that PR because most people would be coming after you.
John Calipari's first 10 years at Kentucky, 7 Elite Eights, 4 Final Fours, and that national championship most recently coming in 2012. His last 4 years, just a single NCAA tournament win. Let's go to the NFL and Drake Maye, who has been perceived as, through the early draft process, one of the early quote-unquote fallers. Despite the noise, though, Michael, Maye is still an odds-on favorite to be selected with the number 3 overall pick in the 2024 draft. What should he be focusing on leading up to that April 25th date?
Well, he can't control where he gets picked. He can only control his work habits. And I think the one thing Drake has going for him, and Dame Bugler mentioned this in the last block, he's a young player. And he's 6'4", he's 240 pounds, he's a big man. And he's going to get bigger, and he's going to get stronger. And that weight room is going to be his best friend. And there's a lot of things to like about Drake Maye. And there's some concerns about Drake Maye. And I think what we've learned from the Josh Allen experiment is the things that you like about that you can't coach. Remember, the great Buddy Ryan had this wonderful saying. He said, there's a place in football for the little man. It's just not in front of the big man. And Drake Maye's a big man. And that helps him. And that's going to offset some of the things that he doesn't do really well, which is what Josh Allen's been able to accomplish. He's hard to tackle. He's hard to get on the ground. He can throw the ball all over. I think for Drake Maye, the only thing he can control is his work habits, his routine, and block out the noise. He's going to have an NFL career. He's going to go to a team that wants him. There's no question. Nobody's going to just turn the card in happenstance. He's not going through the first round like Will Levis where nobody believes in him. He's got fans out there. All it takes is one, and then he can launch his NFL career moving forward.
Again, -135, the number for him to be that number 3 overall pick. The New England Patriots in that spot right now. How about Shohei Ohtani as he comes into the office here, Michael? It has been a very interesting past week for him.
We need the interpreter? I can't speak Japanese.
Well, he has a new interpreter.
Look at Bill Adie over here. I bet he can. I bet Bill Adie can. You know, he learned that at Northwestern, I bet. Yeah.
I would not I would believe it when it comes to Bill Adie. He gets all the tools in the toolbox. But Shohei Ohtani, we know all of the things that have been surrounding him in this gambling controversy with his former interpreter, best friend. He is a very media-averse person. But Shohei Ohtani, with a new interpreter, is going to address the media later today at 5:45 Eastern. What will be important for his messaging to come across today, given the impact of what his interpreter is being accused of right now and the story, all the different directions that it has gone?
I think what he has to be is brutally honest and explain exactly how somebody could take $4.5 million out of your bank account and you don't know anything about it, and how you didn't see what was going on, because everybody is suspicious. And so there's no sense in trying to skirt the issue. There's no sense in trying to hide behind anything. Come out and say exactly what you believe to be the truth, and say it forcefully and say it dynamically so that you have people that understand what you're talking about. Because if there's a little bit of gray, if there's a little bit of uncertainty in your voice, in your delivery, people are going to think that you were involved with this. And, you know, and you claim you're not. And so you're going to have to make sure people understand how this strange event could happen. That an interpreter can walk away with $4.5 million and you had nothing else within your compound to protect yourself. Is this just stupidity on your part, or is just your business handlers didn't do a good job? I think you've got a lot of explaining to do in that area, and I think it's got to happen. The other thing I think that's very clear is because some states don't have legalized gambling, you know, we're getting this confused a little bit here. If California would have had it, there would have been a record of who made the bets, who did what, right? But now we're in this shady underground, which has always been a dark cloud on betting, which makes it look like it doesn't belong. And we all know it does, because it enhances the game perfectly when done right. And if you read the Billy Walters book about it, who's a professional gambler, and understanding the ethics that go into this, it's important.
No question. And initially, the story from Mitsuhara, his interpreter, was that Ohtani knew about his gambling problems and was trying to help him out, didn't trust him with the funds, so he sent him directly to the bookie, I guess, in this case. But then later it was come out that from the team and from Ohtani's lawyers that he was a victim of massive theft. So we'll see if we get some answers, and we do get some truth telling from Ohtani later on today. Last one here. Kevin Keatts, head coach of NC State Hoops. Michael, this team is in the Sweet 16. They went on a remarkable run in the ACC tournament, and they keep on winning here in the Big Dance. What should Keatts' message be to his team ahead of this weekend's game with Marquette trying to punch their ticket in the Elite Eight?
I mean, Kevin's got the greatest platform to talk about it, right? Because he has two teams. He has two teams. He has the bad NC State team, and he's got the good NC State team. And players love to see the visuals. They love to see when they don't play well, and they love to see when they play well. And he's got to paint a picture. He's got to tell a story. He's got to create a narrative on how we got from A to B. And that journey that's got us to B can't go backwards. We've got to continue along that pathway. We've got to play the right way. And we all know how to play the right way. One of the beautiful things about Connecticut basketball is they're not chasing wins. They're chasing a standard of play. And NC State has established their standard of play. They did it in the ACC tournament, and they've done it in the NC2A tournament. They need to continue that standard of play. That's what they're going after. Forget about wins. Forget about wins, because you and I both know if you play to your standard and your standard's high, you're going to win.
And proven they could beat the big dogs. 5 wins in 5 days, knocking off North Carolina in that ACC tournament championship. 7 wins now in 11 days. They're getting 6.5 points against Marquette in that 11-3 matchup.